So if you can believe it, Magic Johnson turns 58 today. We, of course, want to wish the happiest of birthdays to one of the greatest to do it, and as does King James. Happy birthday, Magic Johnson, one of the few that's always showed love from day one. Magic says, thanks, King. I appreciate the love. Now, Smitty, is there a rookie debut more highly anticipated than that of LA's Lonzo Ball? We've got him on TNT, taking on the Clippers, 10:30 Eastern, October 19th, but you got a chance to see him play this summer as well.
Yeah, and I got a chance to do a couple of his games, during the tournament. You're talking about excitement. And obviously people talk about his passing, and I think his passing is, at an all-star level. And obviously he had to put the rest of his game to it, but he has a court presence, and he's a winner. And I think that's the one thing sticks out for me is that part of being a winner. Because every skill set, he can get better. He's young enough. But that winning part, you can't teach that.
And he's been able to silence the noise surrounding his debut. So to talk to the guy who's helping put this thing together, Rob Pelinka, thank you so much for taking the time. Lonzo Ball, the highly anticipated debut at Staples Center. What are your expectations for his role as a rookie?
Kristen, it's interesting. If you study history, it seems to kind of come in cycles. And, the last decade or so, we've seen it be dominated by scoring point guards, Steph and Russell Westbrook and, James Harden as a point guard last year. These guys that are, volume scorers, extraordinary players, incredible players. And then all of a sudden, comes along a rookie point guard whose game is based on really, the opposite of that. It's passing and setting up teammates and sharing the ball. So it's almost like you're seeing kind of a swerve from the current, the way that the stream is flowing the other direction. So I think a lot of people are really interested to see how that plays out. And I think for us, we have to remember, too, opening night is against our crosstown rivals, the Clippers. So I think the mentality we want here, Kristen and Smitty, is we want our guys to circle that game and say, hey, let's make a statement about, what this city is about and how we want to play and compete every night. So really cool opening night for us here in Lakerland. We're really excited.
Rob, obviously you've been around and saw so much talent, played yourself, and as an agent now in the front office role. When you watched Lonzo for myself until I got a chance to be around him, I saw the skill set and I was, excited. But for me, the next step is just being around a basketball player as a person. And when I got a chance to do that, you felt winner. You felt the guy that guys want to play with. Can you speak to that? We all talk about his skill set, whether you're going to nitpick on his jump shot and his unbelievable passing, but his mentality to bring people together and want to play with him and win.
Smitty, you make a good point. One of the things that stood out to me and just watching him interact with our guys at Summer League and then in kind of the casual workouts they've had over the summer is Lonzo doesn't crave the attention. He doesn't crave the credit. He's really a humble, quiet guy. And it's interesting. I think because of that and because of his mentality, his teammates – they want to talk about him, and they want to talk about the way he plays and shares the ball and plays to win. I think at the other end of the spectrum, sometimes you'll run into players who you feel like kind of crave that attention, and then their teammates are less likely to step up and want to, praise them. So I think it's really interesting. You see that in Lonzo as he's interacting with people. He's just someone you want to praise because he plays the game the right way.
And with a lot of young talent on your roster, can you speak to the progression of Brandon Ingram and how his role has been described to him for his sophomore season?
Yeah, Chris, it's funny. Last night, the Broadway musical over the weekend, Hamilton, opened up in our city of Los Angeles. So I got a chance to take my wife to it, and there's a line from that musical where they're, the revolutionaries are talking about how they're young, scrappy, and hungry. And I feel like that's what Brandon Ingram and our young core represents. They're just young, scrappy, hungry guys that want to make a statement to the league. And I think I've seen with Brandon really like taking his work ethic and focus to a whole nother level this offseason. And he's going to be, to your point, he's going to be our end of the game playmaker. He's going to have to step up and make big plays on both sides of the ball, a defensive stop, a score, because of Brandon's versatility. He can play. Luke Walton will play him at the 1, the 2, the 3, and really call on him night in, night out to make those big plays and key moments.
Rob, watching you guys this in Summer League, we all talked about Lonzo Ball, but when you draft night, you drafted Josh Hart. I said I was so excited because here's a guy that 4 years that was a winner. But then I got a chance to watch you guys. Speak to me about Kyle Kuzma. This kid can absolutely play, in my opinion, can play at all 3 levels, at the basket, mid-range, and at the three-point line.
Well, Smitty, you study the game so well, and going into draft night, we didn't look at the board and say, all right, let's assemble talent. Leading up to the draft, Magic and I sat down and we said, what are the core characteristics that we want to identify in terms of DNA of Laker players? What does it mean to put on the purple and gold? What defines us? And we came up with a list of those qualities, and then on draft night we went into it saying, okay, let's find guys that fit that template, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things we were really looking for was versatility. The game is becoming so positionless. The 5s, the 4s, the 3s blend together, the 1s and the 2s, and I think Kyle Kuzma becomes a poster child in the sense of just representing that game of a player that can do everything and is positionless. He had in his workouts with us really on 3 occasions just had a spirit in his step and just an aggressiveness and a chip on his shoulder. He plays in attack mode at all times. I think we saw that in Summer League. So we're really, really excited about it. And you mentioned Josh Hart too. The ball finds winners in key moments, guys that know how to win games. And Josh, he may not be the most athletic player in the gym or the quickest, but he finds ways to make winning plays. He did that at Villanova for a national championship. Jay Wright, he developed a mentality in him. So like I said, this is a young, scrappy, and hungry young core that we are just really, really excited about.
And Rob, you mentioned Magic. Can you describe your relationship with him and what he means to these young Lakers?
He's been unbelievable for all of us to work with. We just moved into a brand new practice facility actually last week. And, Magic's vision just is everywhere in the hallways. He's a guy you show up to every day at work and you want to work with because he's just energetic, positive. He always has a grateful attitude. He's always looking at ways to encourage and build things. And he's a extraordinary visionary. I call people like him and Kobe the 0.001 percenters in life that, you get to work alongside someone who's a genius in their craft. He certainly was that as a basketball player and then as a businessman. So he's been so much fun for all of us to work with. And our relationship has been a real kind of yin-yang because he loves to cast the big vision and call the big shots. And then my mentality, as a lawyer and as a basketball player is to kind of block and tackle and move the chess pieces around and implement the strategy. So our relationship has worked really, really well, and it's been a blessing to work side by side with him every day.
Los Angeles Lakers General Manager Rob Pelinka, thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
No, anytime, guys. You do an incredible job covering the league. Love to be on the show and certainly excited about the schedule release tonight and to get after it. So thanks for the time.
Thank you again.
Thanks, Rob.